Hello! If you watched my last video, you'll know that my crazy hand situation is from my son's 6th birthday party where I was doing tie-dye and fabric paint. So just imagine that there truly is a nice manicure underneath all that. Anyway, this video is to show my new fall setup. So if you've watched my videos, you know I've jumped around to different things. I started in rings, and then I went to traveler's notebooks, and then I've been in bullet journaling since May, and now I am back in a traveler's notebook. This is a Chic Sparrow Deluxe, and it is the Odyssey, which is the distressed Mr. Darcy in buttered rum. Now, I'll be honest, I ordered a buttered rum Odyssey. Mostly I ordered the Odyssey because it was $5 cheaper than the normal buttered rum, and the example that they showed on the website still was the light, beautiful buttered rum color. So I assumed that this would be the same. So I opened it up, and honestly, I was super disappointed. The stitching was dyed, and instead of the nice crisp white stitching, and it was almost a toffee color, and I was just super, super bummed. But the more I handled it, the more I messed around with it, the more I realized that it is really beautiful, and it's also super, super floppy, and it's not the same shiny, slick surface of the normal Mr. Darcy leather. So it's got that really worn feeling, and it came with all these nicks and gouges in it, and it really grew on me, enough so that I decided I wanted to move in. So even though it really was not what I was expecting or what I wanted, I definitely do love it now, and I'm excited to be using it for this fall. So I've just got a Tim Holtz word band on the front, The Journey Awakens the Soul, and let's dive right in. I wanted to have something that I could use as my wallet and my planner, and personal size is really just my sweet spot. So this is my personal size all-in-one thing. So in here I have my driver's license and my main credit card. Obviously I'm not going to show those, but that's what's there. This is just from the Boho Recollections line at Michael's. In the scrapbook pads, they had one sheet that had smaller little cutouts, so I cut out a couple of things from there, and then a Kate Spade ampersand sign. I have cash and a check in there, and then we get into my first notebook. So this is a Northbooks notebook, the dot grid notebook. You can get them on Amazon, and I believe it's a 5-pack is what I got. And it is dot grid, see if you can see that, dot grid just like the Lookderm, and it's pretty nice paper. It holds up well to fountain pens. I'm using it in another notebook with a fountain pen, and it works really well. So all I did was take this, cut it down, and wrap it up in some scrapbook paper, and then washi taped this little thing on because I liked it. So you can see it just tucks right in the cover into the scrapbook paper, so that way I can change it out if I'd like to. But this I am using as a bullet journal. I'm using the same system that I used in my Lookderm, but obviously since that was an A5 and this is personal size, I've had to size it down some. So I left the first few pages open. I'm not numbering these because I mostly just do my weeklies and dailies. I don't think I'm going to do a lot of collections in here, so as long as I can mark the page, I didn't really see a need for numbering, but I am keeping these first few pages open in case I want to do some collections or I want to add some calendars or something like that. So that's the reason the first few are blank. So this was this past week's, when I'm filming, it's this current week's weekly spread. So I have it set up very much the same as my last bullet journal. But because I had to size down, I had to take away some different things. So instead of writing the full, or at least the first 3 letters out of each of the days of the week, I just have an initial. And I also did away with my top header. Instead of switching out the color every week, I'm going to switch out the color by month. So I know that all the Septembers are going to be this pink color. And so that way I'll know what the month is just based on what the color is, so I can group them together like that. I didn't really need, the other part of my header was appointments and tasks, and I know what my setup is, so I really didn't need that header anymore. So I've got my timed appointments, anything that's at a specific time right here, got my dates right there, and then these are my tasks that have to be done on a certain day. I still have room for my quote, which was really important to me, and this was also just a chance to prioritize what I really need when I was sizing down. So this is the bare bones for me. I've got my meals Monday through Friday. I've got my weekly tracker. I took some things out and then realized I didn't actually need to because I have enough space to add more, so I may add some things back in for next week. I've got my section for what's going on in the week to come so I can look ahead, and I've got my weekly and monthly task section. I was concerned I was going to lose a lot, and I really haven't. I think I may be writing a little bit smaller over here, but I still have room. I mean, this was everything that I needed for the week. On a really crazy week like this past week was, I'm not sure how I'll fit everything in, but I'll get to that if I need to. If I need to do a tip in, then I can. Daily, I'm filming this beforehand, so I don't have anything yet for my dailies, but it's going to be the same. The main difference, and this is what I did want to show, is that it's not wide enough to do a 24-hour time chart, so I decided to do 6 a.m. to midnight. So that's the main hours that I need. I'm usually up, lately I am sometimes up before 6, but I'd like to not be up before 6, and I'd like to go to bed by midnight. It doesn't always happen, but those are the main ones that I will be able to see. And then I will do my dailies as many pages as it takes. I may not be able to get an entire week's worth on just the 2-page spread, but that's the great thing about a bullet journal, is that it is flexible. So I've got a ton of pages. It's a really nice thick book. I'll show you in this one how thick it is. So there's lots of room, and that is my first book. On the back, I just have a Target list pad that I have used repositionable a tape runner to attach this for a grocery list. So my next insert is just my 2-year monthly. This was tucked in the back pocket of my bullet journal. It's been in previous personal size notebooks. This is where all of my forward planning goes. Pictures of my kids in the front, standard monthly view. And it's just where I do birthdays, future events, future appointments. I don't do to-dos and tasks in here unless it's something that's particular, like I have been marking when my son needs to bring his violin to school or when he needs to return a library book. But most daily to-dos, like things I do on a weekly basis, are not in here. It's just appointments and the like. So that will go through 2017. I have more quotes on the back. Next, the other part of my wallet is I took 2 Filofax card holders, personal size card holders, and I just took some masking tape and stuck them together. And I did this probably about a year ago, maybe longer ago, and I've used this in multiple notebooks that I've used as a wallet and planner. So I'm not showing this because I do have personal information and credit cards, but I have 2 of these, so that's enough room for, if I put 1 in each thing, 12 cards, but they are bulky enough, or they bulk up enough that I can put more than that in here. So all of my Star loyalty cards, insurance cards, gift cards like this, or promotional cards, they all fit nicely in here and doesn't add too much bulk. My last notebook is just I think this was in the $2 or the $1.50 spot at Michael's, and I covered it up with washi because the cover wasn't especially pretty. And it's just a lined notebook. I did have to cut it down to size and then round the corners. But it's just a lined notebook. I'm going to use this for lists. I have some lists already going in the back, mostly gratitude stuff, but it's more personal. And I just have it clipped on here with a couple of business cards for my Etsy shop, because that was one thing I didn't have room for elsewhere. And back here in the secretarial pocket, I just have coupons. And then in the pin loop, of course, I have my favorite Sharpie pen. And this is all that I am carrying with me these days. You may notice one kind of big thing missing that that's been in every planner I've had for the past year, and that is my mood tracking. I used to have it as a separate insert, both when I was in a Filofax and then when I was in a traveler's notebook, and then it was the entire back section of my look journal, my bullet journal. But things are going really well, and it was getting very monotonous of all being good days and not having anything going on, and so I decided that I'm going to take a little break. It allows me to not have that added bulk. I do have a personal size one already made that was in a previous notebook, so if I need to, I can just double up on one of these elastics and stick it in here, but I'm liking this width a lot. It's the perfect size to have it as my planner and my wallet. It's just a nice size, and it fits in my hand really well. So I'm liking having everything all in one again. It feels very fall to me. This paper clip, I don't even remember where I got this. It may have been an extra in some sort of an order I know I didn't buy it, but someone gave it to me. And it goes great with my whipping post tote, which I've moved back into for the fall. And I probably will do a video on that and an update, because I've had it now for almost a year and a half. It's gotten a lot of use and it still looks great. So I hope that this was a fun video to see what I'm doing. I know that those of you who are Traveler's Notebook enthusiasts will be glad to see me back in my leather again. And stay tuned, I've got some more stuff coming up, some other new notebooks, a project I've been working on that I'm excited to get to share soon. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.